Yes guys, we keep it moving and we keep improving. Today I'm going to give you a no BS guide on how to get rid of your belly fat. Number one, you have to be consistent and disciplined. So you've got all your cupboards clear, you've got all your healthy food, you've got your new gym kit, you've got your Apple Watch tracking your steps, you're all ready to go. But this is the daunting thing that everyone has to understand when you start this journey. You can't be driven by motivation that only lasts a week or so, or when you're in the mood to keep going. You have to be disciplined and consistent on this journey. You're gonna have shit days when you don't feel like going. Even me today, I woke up this morning, my neck is all cricked. I feel a bit off, but I've walked my dogs this morning, and I probably will miss the gym today, but I'll probably walk my dogs again later and do some more steps and do a bit of probably training in the house. But today, my neck is an absolute mess, but as long as I get something done regarding steps, movement, and still eating my meals, I'm still hitting all my targets apart from strength training today. So there's going to be days when you feel shit, there's going to be days when things come up, but you have to be consistent and disciplined every day to get to that desired goal. Even when you get to the goal, you got to be disciplined to maintain how you look as well. That's the hardest bit. The dropping the body fat and getting in shape, to be honest, is quite easy. It's the maintenance when you get there. I've had these problems myself, and I'm going through my journey again now, and I'm going to get to that place and I will maintain it as well. So be consistent and be disciplined if you want to drop this belly fat. Number two, all diets are shit. So I don't care if you're on a carnivore diet, I don't care if you're on a veggie diet, I don't care if you're on a vegan diet, I don't care if you're on a keto diet. All diets are based around a deficit. Doing more than what you're taking. That's all it's based on. You've got to find the right one that fits you, that you can do forever. So even the word diet, I've said this before in other videos, the word diet for me is a horrible word. It screams out short-term fix. It screams out temporary. It screams out not for that long. It screams out just doing it for a holiday. It screams out just doing it for a wedding. The word diet, you can't diet for your whole life. That's why I say the word diet is shit. Find out what works for you. Is that eating a balanced amount of protein, veggies, your fiber, your carbohydrates? Do you want to just be a meat eater? Pause. Do you want to just be a meat eater? That could work for you. A vegetarian regime could work for you. Vegan, if that's your thing and you can maintain it for the rest of your life, do that for you. But for me, I have a balanced food regime, high protein, regarding I get that out of my meats mainly, the right amount of fiber, good fats, and a moderate amount of carbohydrates when needed. That's what works for me. So you've got to find out what works for you. But remember, all these diets you hear about are all based on being in a deficit. That's burning more than what you consume. Number three, focus on increasing your protein intake, strength training, and burning more than what you eat. That's the formula for dropping body fat and gaining muscle. So again, start getting at least 30 grams to 50 grams of protein in each meal. That is your goal, depending on what weight you are and what your target is. Aim for 30 gram to 50 gram of protein in each meal. Make sure you're burning more than what you consume, and make sure you're strength training at least 3 to 4 times a week. 4 would be great, 5 is amazing. Number 4, you need to start eating whole foods and gradually cut down the processed shit. So I'm not sitting here today saying to you, cut out everything on day one. I'm saying stick to the food that you're eating now. If you're eating McDonald's, this sounds crazy to some people, but listen, if you're eating McDonald's or eating bad, I'm not saying to you day one, cut it all out. I would say to you, focus on increasing your protein around what you're already eating. And subconsciously, when you start eating more protein, you won't be able to fit in the foods you used to eat anyway. They will slowly wither away. So that's how I would incorporate transitioning and changing my lifestyle from processed shit to a high protein, balanced regime food. That's what I suggest. So again, I wouldn't tell you to cut everything out from day one. Subconsciously, me telling you not to eat Not me telling you, you can't eat this, you can't eat that, will make you want to eat that eventually. So instead of me saying that, I would make you eat what you want, but all I want from you is hitting your protein targets every day. When you start eating them protein targets every day, naturally, the foods that you used to love and crave will slowly wither away in time. So I'm not here telling you to cut out everything and disappoint your lifestyle, but eventually, if you want the body composition, the longevity in life that you want to feel and look better, this is the way forward. High protein, a good amount of fats, moderate amount of carbohydrates. That's what I suggest for everybody. Number 5, I would say start walking. I've learned this later on in my life, through my life, on my fat loss journey, up and down in my life. I've done fasted cardio, I've done the Stairmaster, I've done a rower, I've done a cross trainer, I've done all types of cardio, and I've killed myself doing it. But what I've noticed by doing it, you drop a bit for a certain amount of time, but your body adapts very quickly to cardio. So all that's going to end up happening is you're going to try and do more cardio, hours and hours on end, and you're just going to keep behind that cycle of trying to drop body fat. But when you're trying to drop this body fat, you'll get smaller, you will lose muscle, you will look softer, you don't look good after all. So what I would say is start walking. Walking is not tiring, you can do it for hours, and it's a great tool for fat loss. I've learned that myself, even doing my journey now. All I've done so far is walk. So what I would say to people, if I had clients, I would say start walking. Don't use no sort of machines in the gym. I would start walking as much as I can and aim for 10,000 steps a day. When you can't do any more steps by walking, I would say then incorporate a treadmill and do an incline walk in the gym after your sessions, but use it as a tool. So I'm not saying don't do cardio or don't do the Stairmaster or don't do certain things, but do them for the right reasons, for your heart health, for longevity, to have better lungs, to build a better engine. Don't aim to do that to drop belly fat or body fat around the body. Number 6, get a coach. I suggest getting a coach after you learnt about your body and you dropped a certain amount of body fat. So if you're 30 or 40% body fat, try and drop at least 10 to 15% of body fat on your own and understand about nutrition and get a good idea about it before you find a coach. You don't want to go to a coach blind and you don't know nothing about your body and how your body works. You don't know what's good for you. You don't know what sort of foods to eat. You don't know how to train. You don't know anything. You don't know what you're allergic to. You don't know what makes you bloat. You don't know how foods make you feel. So if you go to a coach with no plan or no idea of what reacts to your body and they give you a plan, that plan they give you could be amazing for certain people, but if it doesn't fit your lifestyle or doesn't help you, you're going to be on that hamster wheel again of thinking our coaches don't work, I don't know what I'm doing, and you're just going to feel in a depressing place where you don't know where to go or don't know where to get advice from. So what I would say first is understand your body first to a degree. Drop as much body fat as you can on your own. Learn about nutrition, and then you can sit down with a coach and you both can go back and forth. You can give your coach as much data as possible for them to understand, okay, I can adjust this, I can do this. Make them understand you. If you go there with a blank canvas and haven't got a clue about nothing, you don't know what foods agree with you, you've never trained, you've never done anything, it's hard to gauge where you're at and where to put you. I hope that makes sense. Number 7, track your macros and not your calories. A lot of people and coaches, they could say I'm wrong, you could say they're right and vice versa, but I always say track your macros and not your calories. If you just focus on calories, you could be fitting, like if your coach says to you, you gotta eat 2,500 calories to be in a deficit to drop body fat. If you take that knowledge away and start eating 2,500 calories a day, you can get that out of a Big Mac, you can get it out of a chocolate bar, you can get it out of granola, you can get it out of shit foods. Doesn't mean that you're gonna be healthy. Doesn't mean you're gonna be better. Yes, you're probably dropping dropping a bit of weight to a degree, but you're not going to feel better, you're not going to look better, your body composition is going to look absolutely shit. So focus on the nutritional value from the macros. Track your proteins, what proteins you're eating, track the carbohydrates you're eating, track your fiber, and track your fats. Focus on the nutritional value, not the calories. Number 8, don't cheat weekly. A lot of coaches out there and people will say, yeah, have a cheat meal weekly. I don't suggest it. If you're a person that's 30% or higher, you've been having cheat meals every day for the last 10, 20, maybe 30 years. You don't deserve any treats right now. If you're looking to change your life, you can't think about the treats and the foods you used to eat. You're on a new journey and a new path. So don't reward yourself every weekend with, I've trained 5 to 6 times a week, or I've ate great for 5 times a week, I can go out and indulge. It doesn't work like that, because again, you'll be on that hamster wheel, constantly putting on pounds to drop the pounds again. And your mindset will be, I'm training and working through the week to eat shit on the weekend, which is a dangerous cycle. You're not going to get anywhere. I've done this. I've trained my ass off all week, done loads of Stairmaster, done a lot of PBs on bench press, deadlift, squatting. I've ate great from Monday to Friday. But when it comes to the weekend, I've gone out with the lads, I've got drunk, pizzas, burgers, whatever, and I feel like shit on a Monday, and I'm back to square one. I'm holding a lot of water. I'll probably put on a bit of fat, but it's probably predominantly water, and I look puffy, and my performance in the gym shit. I'll probably get that momentum back again and feeling good. Probably Wednesday, I'm back feeling good again. The water's come back off. Then Thursday, Friday, as we get back into the weekend again, I'm doing the same thing again. So a lot of people out there say cheat weekly, but it depends where you're at. If you're at a body fat where it's 15% and lower, then you're in a place where you can indulge weekly. But if you're 30-40% body fat and at the higher range, the higher end, I do not suggest cheating weekly. We're here to drop body fat and look the best you've ever looked. I'll give you an analogy, an example. If you want to save £100,000, I wouldn't say to you, every £1,000 you save, when you get to your first £1,000, I'll go out and indulge and go clothes shopping, it's okay. What I would say to do, save your first 10,000, and then after that £10,000, when you get to 11,000, treat yourself out of that £1,000 and go out and treat yourself. Then the next goal after that 10,000 is 20,000. When you get to that £20,000 mark, you treat yourself again until you get to the 100 grand. But you can't treat yourself every £250 that you save, because you're going backwards. It's the same with your body. If you're dropping £2 a week, for example, why would you destroy that £2 drop by indulging on the weekend and pulling it back on? Let's treat ourselves when we're a stone down, when the body composition looks better, when your waistline looks tighter, your chest is risen a bit. That's just my opinion. So for me, if you're watching this, do not cheat weekly, especially if you're at the top end of 30-40% body fat. Number 9, back to what I said in the last one, is have a mental break when it's needed. So this is regarding having a cheat meal. So when you're at a place where you've dropped half a stone or to a stone, your body composition is starting to look better, when you don't need no more and just want a cheat meal, then go for it, for a mental break and crack back on. But like I said in the last one, don't cheat weekly. Don't reward yourself with food, because it's a dangerous cycle. But if you need a mental break when you've got to a certain place, then so be it. Enjoy a meal, go out with your partner, enjoy a meal, go to a restaurant, do whatever you have to do, but don't overindulge in that whole day. Have a cheat meal, not a cheat day. Number 10, don't rely on the scales. So I've said this before on other videos. The scales is an old school indicator. So it's great to, like, I weigh myself every day, but I weigh myself every day based on if I've had a good sleep, based on how I feel with my moods, based on if I've had a day I've just sat in the city for the day. I've only probably trained in the morning. Excuse me, I haven't really done nothing else, so I can understand my body. If I have a day of relaxation, I know I'll put on a bit of water weight. If I have a high carb day, I check the scales the next day. Okay, I know that my weight's gone up based on that. But as long as the scales are trending down over time, that is perfectly fine. But there's a lot of metrics why you can't rely on the scales, like I just said. You could have had your meals really late. You could have had a rough night. You could have had a rough week. You could be a bit stressed about something. You probably sat on the sofa for the day. So there's a lot of reasons why you can't just judge the scales. I always say, try on clothes that were too tight before, and if they fit better now, your body composition is changing and your body fat is dropping. So don't just focus on the scales. There's loads of other metrics that you can check to see if you're dropping body fat. Number 11, the best training to lose body fat is the program that you can stick to. So you've heard of the bro split. If you're training chest, triceps, back, biceps, legs, your shoulders with core, whatever, that's a bro split. Or you can do the push, pull and lower. There's plenty of splits you can do. People train both, some body parts twice a week, some train them one. I train one single body part a day. I feel like I can concentrate more on that specific area. So if I'm training back, all I will train is back. That's it. If I'm training my legs, all I will train is legs. If I'm training shoulders, all I will train is shoulders. So that's how I train. But whatever you can maintain and enjoy, stick to that program. There's no right program for anyone. But what I will say regarding everybody, make sure you're doing progressive overload. You're adding on weight over time. If you're doing the same amount of weights and the same rep range, you will not grow. You will not break down that muscle tissue. You will not pack on muscle by doing the same routine every day without adding on weight. You can do the same routine week in, week out by adding weights on. That's, yeah, of course, but don't do the same routine with the same weights, because you will not grow muscle tissue. And my final one is, I've said this before as well, be boring. Like I just said, do the same regime in the gym, walk at the same time in the mornings, go to bed at the same time, stick to the same staple meals day in, day out, be consistent, and all of these things that I'm talking about, make sure you enjoy it and you've got a plan in your head that this is forever. It's not a short-term fix, this is a long-term plan for longevity, to look great, to feel great, to be pushing that trolley in the supermarket at 70, to be going on an airplane, putting that carry-on over your head at 70 without no help. You want to be able to be as great as possible for as long as possible. So stick to this plan forever. It's not a short-term fix. Be boring, be patient, be consistent, and be disciplined. So be extraordinary and dare to be different.